In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the links between autoimmune diseases and parental narcissistic abuse. Now, we know from science, from the Adverse Childhood Experiences study, that abuse can cause illness. There's a link between those two. So I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the science in this video, but I'm also going to be talking about my experience with over 30 years of working with the emotional root cause of illness and helping people heal that in their own bodies. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth. I'm a transpersonal psychologist, holistic nutritional chef, and best-selling author of Get Well Now, Healing Yourself with Food and the Power of the Mind. I am also on faculty with the Shift Network and the host of the Toxic Parent Recovery Summit. And I help wounded ACONs, adult children of narcissists, to heal, to become healed icons. And what's an icon? An icon is somebody who's independent, confident, original, and naturally you. All those things that narcissistic parents divide us from, I help you heal in my Iconic Me therapeutic coaching program. But let's get on to this subject today of autoimmune diseases and narcissistic abuse, having narcissistic parents particularly, and the connection between those two. And I'm saying this from a place of a really intimate place of understanding what it's like to have an autoimmune disease and to heal it, and also to have a narcissistic parent. So this is personal experience, but this is also professional experience. And this is not something where I just took a weekend workshop and got introduced to the idea. This is something I have studied and trained in extensively. And then I have thousands of hours with my clients over the years in my own technique called whole person integration technique that helps them heal that emotional root cause based on the things that I studied in my PhD program. So this is not coming from some place of not that much experience or information. There's lots of information here. So I wanted to start by saying that. But let's think about an autoimmune disease. And so basically, this is healthy tissue that's being attacked by your own immune system. Now, I want you to open your mind for a moment because I'm going to say something that you might not have ever heard of or thought of before. But I talk about the human energy system. And the second center of the human energy system is also known as the emotional body. Now, when you go through narcissistic abuse, you are being abused emotionally. So emotions are literally used as weapons against you to hurt you. And the primary emotions that a narcissistic parent uses is guilt, shame, anger, rage, jealousy, and envy. And those, they just throw them at you all the time, or other people in your environment, depending on what role in the family you've been chosen to play by them. And you have a reaction to those emotions as well. So if you think about your emotional reaction on top of the emotions that are being thrown onto you, plus the ones that you're always searching the environment, feeling out for, particularly negative emotions, you'll go into any environment probably for your whole life and say, I'm empathic, I'm sensitive, I'm a highly sensitive person. But what you're sensing and you're looking for is the danger in the room because you were trained to look for the danger in the room. You were programmed for this. Okay, so your immune system and your gut, which is in that second center of the human energy system where the emotional body is, your immune system and the gut, which is the upper intestinal tract. This is where you absorb nutrients into the body. And the science has looked at the direct connection with the brain, and they've even called the gut the second brain because it has a lot of the same makeup in it. Your immune system is your inner child. It is your emotional body in the work that I do. And I've seen this over and over again. When we heal the emotional body, the immune system begins to heal, the gut begins to heal. And of course, I also do help them with nutrition and this was my own personal story as well, to help you support the body to heal itself while you're going through your emotional release therapeutic process. So it's a holistic process, and I found that if you want to heal from the wounds of narcissistic abuse, that it's a holistic issue. And so you need to heal holistically. So that's mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, and spiritually. All those things are interconnected. It's not just one thing. It's not just mental and emotional abuse. It affects the entire body. So if you think about your immune system, your inner child is attacking your body. And stay with me for a moment here, because you might be wondering, this is so out there. And believe me, I thought it was out there when I first learned about all of these concepts years ago. But this is what I've been blazing a trail in for the last almost 30 years, 27 years that I've been working in this field. And so I know what I'm talking about. And at any rate, let's get back to the immune system. So that inner child is attacking the body. That immune system is attacking the body. It's attacking healthy tissue. But I think there's several reasons for this. I think that has a lot to do with environmental impact, things that you're breathing in from your environment, things you're putting on your skin, on your hair, your toothpaste. I mean, all these different products that we're using, cleaning products in the home, all of those things, environmental influences will affect you. There's also the food influences. So there's gluten, dairy, food chemicals, all these things that your body has to deal with the assault on it. But then there's those thoughts, those feelings, and those beliefs from those negative experiences that you had being abused by a narcissistic parent that get you emotionally just in a tizzy. You're just emotionally in a wreck much of the time when you grow up like this. And you may grow up and feel like you're very emotionally immature. But if you think about it, you were raised by an emotionally immature parent, probably two emotionally immature parents, because the narcissistic parent will be attracted to somebody who's also wounded, somebody who maybe tends to be codependent or might have some other kind of mental illness or disorder, or they may also be a narcissist. One of the things that happens when you grow up with a narcissistic parent is that you're criticized, you're put down. You may be the scapegoat in your family where you're blamed for absolutely everything. And so those things create this program inside of you that says, I'm not good enough, I never get it right, I'm always to blame, I'm always in the wrong, there's something horribly wrong with me, I'm a bad person. So all of those different things get instilled into you. So those are programs that you can actually release, which is the good news. But those programs, as you grow up and you become an adult, you start to turn them in on yourself. And so if you think about turning in the abusive talk on yourself and how you're attacking yourself, you're attacking your own cellular memory, your own body with awful things, thinking, I'm a horrible person. I never get it right. I'm not good enough. No one likes me. I never do anything right. And then you might have perfectionist tendencies or people-pleasing tendencies. It can be all of these things. So when you look at those connections and you think about how that's interconnected with the emotional body, with the gut and the immune system, then, oh, wow, this kind of makes sense. Actually, it probably makes a lot of sense, even though you might still be going, oh, this is still out there stuff. But hang with me for a moment, because the key to healing this is going within, and it is doing some kind of therapeutic process that helps you release the energy that you're storing in your body and in your field. One of the things I learned many, many years ago that I was like, no way, when I first heard it, was that your body holds memory. Your muscles hold memory in the tissues. And so if you're thinking about the fact that you were abused every single day and you watched other people in your family get abused every single day for years and years and years on end, you're holding that experience in the cellular memory of the body. And so if you find things, modalities that can help you release that, like whole person integration technique, which is what I created, to help you release that emotional energy, those thought, feelings, and those negative core beliefs. And I'm talking about deep negative core beliefs. You'll be believing very deep inside of yourself, like I'm unlovable, nobody wants me, I'm invisible, I do not matter. All of those things are things that you will relate to when you've been through narcissistic abuse. And I don't know where you are in your waking up process around being narcissistically abused by your parent, but it's an incremental process that's like one cut at a time, thousands and thousands of tiny paper cuts over years and years. And so a similar process happens when you start to awaken to the fact that your parent is a narcissist. And I see it mostly in people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond that are waking up to it. And we often really don't see it until our narcissistic parent is aging. And then we watch that whole process of aging, and their narcissism gets amplified, and it's really in your face. And then you're like, okay, how do I deal with this? And then you start looking at videos like these to try to understand all the holistic connections between narcissistic abuse, what's going on in your body, what's going on in your life and in your relationships, in your work life, and every area of your life, because narcissistic abuse will wound you in every single area of your life. So back to autoimmune diseases. There are so many of them now. I think there's hundreds of autoimmune diseases now. Personally, I had fibromyalgia with chronic fatigue syndrome. I was also diagnosed with mixed connective tissue disease. I had 2 positive tests for that. Then they redacted the diagnosis. And the same thing with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome. All of those were redacted after doing the emotional release work, but also working with the environment, making sure my environment is clean and clear of toxins, and then also making sure that my food is clean and clear of toxins. And so that's something that I have to keep up all the time, but we all do. And if you've been through a significant amount of abuse and you identify as sensitive and empathic and all of those things, then it's likely that you are sensitive to or allergic to food and things in your environment anyway. And it's best to kind of keep those toxins down, as I talk about lowering your toxic burden so that your body has a chance to heal itself, because that's really what it's designed to do. As I mentioned earlier in this video, I was going to go a little bit more into the science around abuse and illness and how those two things are interrelated. Now, the Adverse Childhood Experiences study is the largest public health study ever done. It was done at Kaiser Permanente in San Diego, California, and it's been an ongoing study since the mid-90s, and copycat studies have been done all over the world of the same study. And what they did was they looked at 10 categories of abuse that can happen before the age of 18. And from that, they've created the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study quiz, which is actually available on my website at meghaworth.com, where you can take the quiz and learn more about the links between abuse and your illness or pain that you might be experiencing in your body. Because so often we have these persistent symptoms that we just think of as normal, like, yeah, I cough a lot, or I get these headaches all the time, or yeah, my knees are really stiff. But these are symptoms that are careening towards a diagnosis typically. So that's something to really be aware of, and that you can help reverse those, hopefully, or help prevent them from worsening by just doing health and wellness kinds of interventions that can help you holistically. So one of the things that they found in the Adverse Childhood Experiences study is that there were specific diseases that sort of went to the top of the list in terms of their links to childhood abuse. And we're talking about abuses like alcoholism or addiction in a parent, sexual abuse, watching one parent physically abuse the other one, you being physically abused, incarceration of a parent or other family member, and then there's mental illness of a parent or other care provider. And so these are, caregivers and parents basically, and what you were exposed to on a regular basis growing up. Neglect, that's a big one, where they just aren't there for you. And that's something that's really a big part of parental narcissistic abuse is neglect. And a lot of people don't really associate that because narcissistic parents are usually incredibly controlling and on top of their kids all the time, but they're emotionally neglecting. The narcissistic parent is emotionally neglecting the children while they're also on top of them. So it's a very confusing kind of abuse. It makes you question, like, am I loved by my parent? I can't tell. So that's a normal thing to be asking when you're going through narcissistic abuse. So back to the science. So we look at the adverse childhood experiences study and information around that really links abuse and illness, but we also look at the work of Dr. Candace Pert, which I think is really important information. She wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion, and she was this person who discovered the opiate receptor. And what she found was that every single cell of the body has brain cells in it, and every single cell of the body registers an emotion when you feel that emotion. So if you think about you're feeling shame every single day of your life, and that shame is registered in every single cell of your body, that will break down the immune system, leaving you more vulnerable to illness and diseases. Now, autoimmune diseases is incidentally one of the top illnesses that we see connected in the adverse childhood experiences study. The number one is lung diseases, which I thought was fascinating because in Chinese medicine, the lungs are the seat of grief. And grief is something I work with my clients on. Every single client I work with has to work through the grief of loss, of having the parent they always wanted to have and they're never going to have when you have a narcissistic parent, because they cannot show up for you in the way that you hope that they would be able to. So looking at the science here is so important because it really backs what we've been seeing. Any of us that are in the somatic therapeutic world, this is what we've been looking at for decades and decades. So all of these things have been confirmed, and there are many different ways to go about healing from parental narcissistic abuse and that connection with illness and pain and persistent symptoms in the body. If you haven't already liked this video, please like the video, please subscribe to my channel, and leave anything in the comments that any questions you might have, or maybe you resonate with what I'm saying today and you want help. And if that's the case and you think you might want to work with me, then you can book a free call. The links are in the description below. And you can find me at meghaworth.com to learn more about the work that I've been doing all these years. So I do a number of different things. My Shift Network courses are on my website as well, along with my own personal courses. One is a great one to learn about energy medicine and healing energetically and holistically. It's a great way to get introduced to this kind of work, and it's very inexpensive. It's called Healing the 5 Primary Wounds of Parental Narcissistic Abuse, and that's also on my website at meghaworth.com. It's meghaworth.com. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you've watched all the way to the end, I am super grateful for you. I thank you so, so much. And I hope that this information has helped you to get well now.